Hey guys, in today's video, we are going to be talking about 5 things in CS2 that you should never buy. All of the items on today's list have different reasons why you should never buy them, and I'm super excited to talk about them. So let's get into the video. And just before we get started here, I wanted to let you guys know I now have my own Discord community where I'm in there helping you guys with skins, playing games with you guys, and we also do very frequent giveaways. We will also be doing our first knife giveaway coming up at 500 subscribers, so make sure to be there for that, and the link is in the description if you'd like to join. I'd love to see you there. The first one we're going to be talking about here is probably one of the most simple ones, but that is new items. When new skins are released to Counter-Strike 2, people go crazy over them and pay crazy amounts of money to get them as early as possible. Skins that should only be $20 or $30 are selling for almost thousands of dollars the first day or two after the skin is released. We have seen this exact thing happen with the new Genesis terminal and the recent Fever case. As a recent example of this, I was the first in the world to pull a factory new stat track op print stream, and I sold it the night it was tradable for $2,400. There is no reason an op print stream should be anywhere close to that price, but they wanted it as early as possible, so it got sold for that price. This exact pattern happens every single time a new item is released to the game, so my personal recommendation is to wait a couple weeks, maybe even a couple months for the price to level out to what it should be if you really want the item. Now the next item is probably one of the most common mistakes new people make when they're first getting into buying skins, and that is buying stat track knives. Most people think stat track knives are going to be a lot better than the normal knives just because they think it follows the pattern of the play skins, which stat tracks are usually a lot more expensive. But even though they are 10 times rarer to get in stat track, no one seems to like them nearly as much as plain knives. This means that the market for stat track knives is so small that they barely sell at all. As opposed to the regular version, the stat track version only sells about once or twice a month. Now, if you're not really too worried about keeping the knife liquid, then I think stat track knives are really cool, especially since you can track knife kills, which are probably some of the coolest kills in Counter-Strike. Then I wouldn't be too worried about them, but if you're wanting to stay liquid and make sales with it, then I would definitely stay away from stat track knives. Next, we're going to be talking about minimal wear float capped knives. Some knife finishes, such as Dopplers, only have a float range from 0 to 0.08. And with factory new starting at 0.07, that leaves a very small sliver for minimal wear. This means not only are these knives extremely uncommon and rare, they look worse as well. Minimal wear obviously shows a lot more wear than factory new does, and most of the time these minimal wear float cap knives are going to be listed at a very similar price to the factory new ones, so there's kind of no reason to buy the minimal wear ones. The main reason though that I'm putting this on the list today is that they never sell. They even sell far less than the stat track knives. Nobody wants to buy a knife that looks worse than the factory new condition for a very similar price. And the fact that they're so rare to get makes listings for these very uncommon. All of these factors together means they just don't sell very often at all, and in some cases they even go months at a time without selling. This is amplified even more if the minimal wear knife is stat track as well. Looking at some recent sale history for some of the recent stat track minimal wear knives that have sold, some of them even go years without selling. So altogether, minimal wear float cap knives is something you should definitely stay away from altogether. The next thing I want to talk about here is scraped sticker crafts, but more specifically, overpaying for these sticker crafts. Sticker crafts, especially some of the nicer ones, have always been incredible skins to own, and I think they're really fun to play with, and I believe they hold their value decently well. But if you're looking at picking up a sticker craft on a gun that has some of the stickers scraped, I would definitely stay away from these. Not only is the value and the looks of the sticker completely awful, just like the last two we talked about, these never sell. Normal sticker crafts are usually still pretty hard to sell, and they could take a couple weeks or months to sell, but scrape sticker crafts on top of that makes it almost impossible to sell these. Nobody really wants to spend a lot of money overpaying for a sticker craft just for the stickers to be scraped on it already. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. So altogether, I would definitely just stay away from these scrape sticker crafts and just stick with regular sticker crafts. The last thing that I want to go over on today's list are factory new gloves. Now this entry here is kind of situational depending on what your inventory looks like, but 99% of the time, I would definitely recommend to stay away from these. Most people, when looking at gloves, want to find a good deal for a good looking pair of gloves for a good price, and usually that falls between minimal wear and field tested. A good pair of minimal wear gloves usually looks just as good as factory new gloves, but factory new is going to be such an exponential jump in price, it just wouldn't make any sense to buy them. Now for some people, they won't really care about spending the extra money to get them in factory new just because they want them like that. And they do sell pretty often. It's not like the last couple that never sell. You will be able to sell these. But just speaking on the ordinary person collecting Counter-Strike skins, they're in there for the looks. They're not really concerned about the float very much. They just want them to look good. And I think most people spending thousands and thousands of dollars more just for the factory new title wouldn't make any sense. So my recommendation here, I would stick to probably minimal wear at most with gloves, but usually you can find a very good deal on low float field testeds that look just as good. But if you are in the market for factory new gloves just because you want the title or a low float of them, I think that is completely alright because they do sell pretty frequently. You're not going to have your money tied up, but I would always definitely go for a low float field tested or minimal wear if you're looking just for looks. Thank you guys so much for watching to the end of today's video. I hope this video warned you a little bit about some of the things you shouldn't really buy in Counter-Strike 2. Because I know I've made a few of these mistakes in the past, so if I had this video back then, this would definitely help me. But do remember to join the Discord server. I always love seeing new people in there. It always makes my day when I see new joins in there. And we are so close to the 500 subscriber mark, and we will be doing the knife giveaway in that Discord server when that time comes. But anyways, thanks for watching and take care.